biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Today is Monday, April 26th. It's your boy Kevin Thornton. You have tuned in to the 23rd. My bad, 23rd, 2018. You have tuned into the Wellness Architect Show with your boy Kevin Thornton, and we're gonna have a major show today. Initially, those who would follow me know that I had initially supposed to been having Stick from Dead Prez on the show. We are going to have him on the show. The date's gonna be to be announced. He's been mad busy with shows and stuff like that. So, but he will be on the show. So, as I know for a fact, I will reissue out the information so y'all can listen to the show. But to no further ado, this would not be no letdown to the show, because those who've been listening know we've been doing a 2-part series on relationships, and now we're gonna do part 3. Net, our super producer, is going to be from the female perspective, and my guest here, his lady's going to be here at 7:45, and she will also represent the ladies. And we got 2 other guys coming in from Instinct Radio who's going to also put their feedback in. So it's going to be a great show, different perspectives about relationships from male and female perspective, how men and women see things, and how we do things, and how we could not just pinpoint what the women don't do and what the men don't do, but what can we do to make it better. So without no further ado, we have a new person to the team, to the Instinct Radio team. So I want him to introduce himself, tell everybody who he is, what he do, and the name of his show, and when it will be starting.
Well, thank you for having me on first, man.
Yes, sir.
I love what you do. I just told you I like the content you bring on. So,
Appreciate you.
I'm happy to be here. What's up, everybody? My name is Jesco. I go by J-Co. The show is going to be called Kicking Back with J-Co. It's going to be on Wednesdays from 6 to 8. Be on the lookout for that. I'm definitely going to have my man Kevin on. He's going to, show me some love. We're going to have a little fun.
Yeah.
It's a different type of show. It's more variety than anything. We're going to go over different topics and everything like that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a Hump Day experience. It'll be a brand new Hump Day experience. So I hope you guys, can support when you can. If not, you can always listen to it. Just like you listen to Kevin's on our YouTube page, on his YouTube page, definitely. If you can't get in and listen to it now, make sure you tune into that as well.
Absolutely.
But again, I'm happy to be here, join the conversation. He brought me on. Shout out to Net back there doing her thing. Love her to death. So, yeah, man, I'm happy to be here.
So how did you start wanting to do radio?
Well, it was a transition. I did a lot of extra work. Starting all the way from when I was from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did Mr. 3000,
Okay.
Bernie Mac, the late Bernie Mac. And I got a love for film, so I just, traveled that road. Did some film school in Orlando for a couple years. Migrated here, and Hollywood was taking off from that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just getting in where you fit in. And I did a lot of extra work, a little small pieces here and there. But the transition to radio and, getting online when I was hosting trivia, because I host trivia a couple nights a week in some areas in Atlanta.
Okay.
But
where at? So if they want to come check you out, what can they find you?
I ain't gonna say I'm the best trivia host in Atlanta, but I might be the best trivia host in Atlanta. I'm just gonna toot my own horn. But no, on Tuesdays, if you go to Georgia Tech, in that area, it's off 10th and Hemp Hill. It is called Rocky Mountain Pizza. We do that from 8:30 to 10:30-ish, or whenever the show is over. It's a fun game. Or on Thursdays, Oz Pizza is in East Point. I don't know that address. That's a newer joint, but it's a good vibe. It starts at 7:30. So if you're interested in trivia, it'll be some trivia and some fun things I do on my show too. If you can't make those, I always try to test some of my viewers and get them on board too. But it's a good time, and it's what I've been doing, and that kind of transitioned me to the radio aspect. I was on Conversations with Cupid with Shay a couple times. That's my good friend. I love her to death. And,
I love Shay.
I just love the energy. So, it was an idea for me to just bring my own show to fruition. And here I am. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity. So it's a good time, man. I enjoy myself.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And it just worked out perfectly that you was here when I got here, because, outside of, inspiring and educating people to be the healthiest version of themselves, I also try to do my best to use this platform to showcase black men in a different light, because media and society has created this narrative that, we only one type of way.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You could have guys like me who's going to inspire you to be healthy. We also got men like you who are also intelligent, but going to entertain and still talk about things that are going on in the community.
Right.
So it shows us men all being intelligent in different forms of light. And so that's why I was like, when you came and I heard you talk, I said, okay, it'd be perfect.
Well, I'm happy to hear. And you're right. I mean, I think that it's important for us as black men to make sure we supporting one another on a different platform.
Absolutely.
It's hard for us to even throw out a compliment, more or less support people.
Exactly.
People look at you funny if you call somebody handsome. It's not necessarily mean it's gonna be in a funny way. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just about supporting and uplifting each other. So, when you came in, I didn't even know you had a show, and you told me about it. So before I, did the research, went onto the website, I thought it was nice. You know what I mean?
I wasn't used to that because you come in, you was like, okay. Then when you next told you I'm getting ready to do a show, you instantly did your research. You were like, okay, and I'm like, all right, so let's make it happen. Then you talk about you doing the show. Let's make it. Let me introduce you, so prepare you for everybody get to know who you are before your show gets started.
Oh, I'm coming. You better believe it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time. It's Wednesday. It's a hump day experience. You're in the midway through your week. Whichever way your week went, whether it's bad or good, I'm gonna try to give you a little bit of fun, a little bit wherever you're on your drive home or you watching a playback, whatever you're doing. I'm hoping that I can entertain you to the point where you feel like a little breather. Everybody need a breather.
It didn't hurt you none that you a Midwest guy.
You know it.
Me coming from Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
By the way of Detroit,
Gotcha.
as well. So
Okay.
I Midwest guys are the truth. So
Gotta stick together.
Yes, sir. So I listened to you talk. I heard you had been on my girl show, Cupid. With Shay,
Conversation with
with
my
Shay.
girl. That's my
So I
girl
said,
right
okay, this would be perfect that he could just chime right on in.
Yes, sir.
With the relationship topic. So since you knew, I'm gonna ask you the question that I asked them a couple weeks ago. Do you feel that chivalry is dead, or is it no longer required?
It's not dead, but the requirement is really not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not dead because there's a lot of us that do have that.
Mm-hmm.
I was brought up around a lot of women and a lot of men too. I had a very big family on both sides.
Right.
But I never seen anybody in my family, as far as the males, mistreat their women. They did what they needed to do. And it obviously is a different time frame that we live in, so
Right.
they're not really getting taught the proper way
Right.
to practice chivalry because they don't know.
Right.
In most cases, I was taught women ain't good percentage. They're not supposed to ever open a door.
Absolutely.
They're not supposed to ever, if they go to the bathroom, most people stand up. A lot of people don't do that here.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a cultural thing. I think it's across the board.
Right.
People just don't learn it. So if
Right.
you're not learning it, it's not a fault against you. It's just one of those things where you don't really know, you're not going to do it.
Right.
So it's dead in that sense.
Right.
But it's a fair few of us that still practice that.
So, since I know you are aware of what to do, so when you practice it, is it hard for you, since you are a rarity, that do women know how to appreciate what you offer them?
Some don't. And that's not a hit against them because they don't know any better either. If they've never had it,
Right.
some of them you might scare them away. Some of them might be like, okay, what does this dude own? They might think you have ulterior motive. So it's one of those things where it's up to the woman to be able to receive it and see it as sincere and genuine,
Right.
or to watch out for the assholes that don't really have a good motive towards it, because they can do it. There's a lot of connivers, on both sides, men and women.
Right.
But they need to know that it's coming from a genuine place. Hard to do these days.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So-
not dead. It's just declining slowly because people aren't being taught it. But it's some people out here.
So
that's
does it prevent you from being who you are all the time, or are you selective on how you do it?
You can pick and choose, but I truly believe that you should always remain who you are, even as hard as it is, because you either do it and you win, or you do it and you lose. You can't really. There's no in between for me. I'm not gonna fake it to impress somebody else, but I've learned that gets you nowhere because you're not really authentic. You just playing a role to get to a common ground.
Right.
And the common ground is to yours, not to anybody else's. That's just
Exactly.
how you feel about it.
Exactly. This is like, I just think you got if you date a woman or a woman dating a guy, you got to ask yourself what's your intentions.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
so whatever I do, is my intentions pure? If my,
Yeah.
if I'm treating you this way because that's how I really want to treat you like that, or am I treating you like this because I feel this is what I need to do to make you like me?
The motive is there.
Right.
Especially if you have some sort of status in life. Especially those are people you really need to watch out for.
Right.
Because if they're not genuine about their approach and they come off like they are, their motive is there.
Right.
You can see it. It's just a matter of really getting to know somebody.
Right.
Sometimes this takes longer than others. It's not going to be a direct connection all the time.
All right.
So you have to be cautious about that. But it's not dead. It's just a matter of the woman or the man seeing the indifference in that other person they're interested in.
Okay.
And making sure there's no motive behind it. Because it could be motive for women and it could be motive for men.
Okay.
It's just a matter of you seeing through the BS of that person.
Right.
To either take a chance on, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Right.
maybe their intentions are good.
Right.
But then you look 2 or 3 months down the line, it was all for nothing because you saw the signs ahead of time and you
Right.
just decided to say,
Right.
I'll see what happens.
Okay.
That happens more often than not in relationships, I think.
Exactly. What's going on, sir?
What's going on? How you doing?
How you
brother?
doing, man?
I'm Music Monk ATL.
Okay, Jessica, nice to meet you, brother.
So he's starting a new show starting on Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wednesdays. It's called Kicking Back with J. Cole. So yeah,
Okay,
all the
that's
show
what's
coming.
up.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what's up,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
so
Appreciate it.
we just gonna throw him to the fire.
My man, good.
He came,
good to see
he
you,
came at the
man.
right time. I like
Right,
that.
right,
We
right.
gonna throw him to the fire. So we got you coming in. So everybody know who you are, but still tell
I don't know
everybody.
about everybody, but
Tell
I
them,
appreciate it.
tell them who you are, and then tell them about your new video that you dropped.
Well, I am Music Monk ATL. You can catch me on Instagram at Music Monk ATL, Music and Motorcycles ATL, and I recently published Music in the Truck with Music Monk on my YouTube channel, Music Monk ATL.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you got to go check it out to see what it's all about.
Check it
You know
out.
what I
Check it
mean?
out. Okay.
Check it out. And we talked about this last Tuesday after we did Beer and Conversation. And I'm going to be on his video for Music in the Truck, but we're going to do it on the Wellness Architect show. It's going to be, he going to tape it. And it's going to be on YouTube, but also going to be live with us. So it could be a win-win for my show and his show at the same time.
Absolutely. And I'm so looking forward to it, bro.
Man,
What's up, man? I'm gonna check it out. Check it out.
Appreciate
for me, I told him I want to do 90s R&B. So because that's what we think about talking about doing. I know Lyris want to do 90s R&B too, but
Well, I think Lyris, man. Shouts out to it being a conversation as well, man. But I think Lyris is like he's a little bit older in his approach to music. So I noticed that he's always having us play, the Luther Vandrosses and the early '80s R&B.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do was I wanted to split it.
Okay.
You do like the like the '90s era.
Yeah.
And then let him do the kind of like the heyday. You know what I'm saying? When R&B was on its way up.
right.
And
Okay.
then obviously it peaked in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I asked Jessica a question before we started the show. I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Okay.
The question is, does money and status makes a woman sexier to you? Be truthful.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no. Because I want to speak partly from my perspective, but more so just from a perspective of a young man in his 30s that's not married yet.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm never like be as successful as you want to be.
Okay.
But I just want people to understand when it comes to the pursuit of love, there ain't just no you can't take no loss. However you choose to go about your life to make yourself ready for whoever the universe or God wants you to be with, you got to understand it's going to come with some trade-offs.
Right.
And like I would just say for me, like it doesn't matter if she is successful as long as that's not what defines her.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if that doesn't define her, if she's cool with, if she has like I put it like this, I'm gonna see if I can describe this. If she has, let's say she has all the material wealth in the world that she could, withstand for one person, but she has an off the grid personality. like I'm cool with that. And I'm not saying that it has to be that way, but I think that's a really, really strong way to balance out the grips of the material world with the understanding that it could all be gone tomorrow and you could be starting at ground zero. No matter how well you prepare, like none of us are, immune to those, you know what I'm saying? But nah, I mean, status, status is status. Everybody wants to be seen with the winner.
Right.
And we don't want to have, unfortunately for Southern gentlemen, we end up having more, and women too, in the South. Let me just say that. Let me not make distinctions based on gender.
Okay.
But just in the South, we're more likely to just be taking care of folks. You know what I'm saying? We're more likely to give people a chance. And it might not be a regional thing, but I just think that in the South, like, we just so accepting of certain things. So we want people to be on point. But if they need a little work, we'll work with them. Right. Okay. And then you end up losing. That person may acquiesce or they may not. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things.
Okay. All right. I like it. Because the reason why I asked that question is I followed this guy. He's actually been in my spin class a couple of times, but he does Truth Tuesdays. That's his hashtag. And so, he's really adamant about speaking from a male perspective about relationships, and putting I guess he trying to put the smack down on trying to debunk all the myths of what people put out there about black men and relationships. And so I saw that and I said, let me ask, because he made the statement saying Oprah's a billionaire. But in a man's eyes, she's still not going to be sexy to them, even though she got all the money in the world. But Jay-Z is almost a billionaire, and to women's eyes, they will look past his looks, and his money will make him look sexier. That's what that's what they're saying.
Unwillingly.
Yeah, but some people make that sacrifice. I mean, some guys say they wouldn't do it, but if Oprah walked up and asked 9 out of 10 men, they going.
I know some.
They going. 9 out of 10 going, because they thinking about it's an investment versus an attraction. For some, and that's the thing people won't say or admit, because I think that whether male or female, the investment is about the investment at that point.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have $1 to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and then Oprah walk on you, you might not even be married to her, but you comfortable at that point.
Right, and especially if the woman is willing to pay to play.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
The finesse is in the game. The finesse is in the game.
If
you can finesse
and the crazy about
she's gonna do it. Any woman would, and I think that's what makes it more of a healthier conversation, because it's just not women.
Yeah,
it's just men will hide it because of the pride. Like, look, I might talk to Oprah, but I walk over to the corner
because
take the check.
Yeah, I think once you get cool with certain guys, they don't feel like they don't have to hide nothing from you. You start to see the true colors of some guys. Yeah. And, like I said before, I had some friends I'm cool with, still cool with, but, we be at the bar and they'll see somebody and talk that talk and find out what they did for a living.
Yeah.
They'll come back and Google and do a Google search on that job title, how much they make. And if it's the right price amount, they go back and shoot that game. They might not probably would talk to that person outside of the fact that person make $250 a year.
Absolutely.
And they go back and say, all right, I like to talk, I want to talk to you. Yeah.
That's the city that we in. We're in a city where you can meet a millionaire in one day, or you can meet somebody working at McDonald's the same day. And he was the girl that look like she work at McDonald's, if she a manager, she make decent money, she could be fine. But you meet a girl that's with a Fortune 500 company making 70 plus, 100 plus, she don't look as appealing. But you find out that 100K in there, you gonna move, and that's unfortunate. But it's the reality. It's the reality.
What you gotta say?
It's the reality, man. It's unfortunate though. It is.
Ned, don't be laughing. I think it is a delicate ballet. Is what I'm gonna say. When you I'm starting to realize that. You can shoot your shot in life. You know what I'm saying?
And if you're single, you should.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You can definitely shoot your shot. But you gotta you know what I'm saying? You gotta understand where you are personally. You know what I'm saying? When you shoot your shot. And you can't be upset with people when you shoot your shot and they aren't receptive to what it is that you bring to the table. And that's whether or not you have an abundance or if you just got a good heart.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm saying is that, you know, for me, in Atlanta, everybody feel like because there's like 90,000 plus single women that every man has the pick of the litter, right?
Right.
It's not really true. You know what I'm saying? Because the basic human connections and attractions still are at play. Now, there's always going to be nuances and, you know what I'm saying, just different, like all ain't going to be alike, but I know me, and in my age at this point, I almost gave out the secret there. You know what I'm saying? Right, you know what I'm saying? I'm in my 30s, you know. But what I've learned observing is there's like a cycle of what you funnel and what you attract to yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it may be you may attract one type of person for your attitude. And you may attract one type of person for like your physical, for like, you know, like your physical makeup.
Yeah.
You gotta find like the balance between. So I know for me, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not the tallest guy in the world. I'm like in between 5'6" and 5'7". My father was 6'2". My mother is 4'9". 4'9". So my mother.
She climbed that tree, huh?
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That tree.
You know what I'm saying? So biologically, I'm kind of right where I'm supposed to be, but there's this thing about height. So I already know, even if a young lady is a little bit taller than me, she's going to have a problem with it. It don't matter what I bring to the table. It don't matter that all of the things that I bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? It's about a look. It's about what she wants.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna knock that. You know what I'm saying? Because
I mean, that's her preference.
That's what I'm saying.
Her preference. Just like you have a preference, you know, just like Kev got a preference. I mean, everybody does.
Right.
It's just some people look down on some over the others. They make it seem like one is bigger than the other when at the end of the day
it's all the same.
It's all the same.
So my point in saying that is this. If I know that in my travels, traditionally, women that are taller than me tend to have some apprehension about it. It's not that I'm not going to find those women attractive, but like Bruce Lee said, and I always quote Bruce Lee. It's the only quote that I use from him. Brilliant man, by the way. But he said, "Be like the water." And what that means is that a lot of times in life, man, we create resistance where there should be no resistance.
Right.
So I'm not saying that I'm settling, because I've dated all types of women. Ones that are super tall, super short, super slim, super chunky, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a kind of a feel for like what works for you.
Right.
And I'm noticing that there's a particular pocket. If I'm a drummer, I've got to find that pocket, right?
Right.
I got a particular pocket that works for me that's like the water. You know what I'm saying? And as time grows, you know what I'm saying, there's a multitude of people in terms of how they look on that particular spectrum that you fit in terms of attraction. You just gotta just kind of play. That's what playing the field is about. Playing the field ain't about shooting your shot and you middle school league and you shooting your shot in the NBA. Like, you gonna get rejected. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Be real. My point is, be realistic about who you are and what you get from the opposite sex when you out here pursuing. If you're not taking notes, then what's the point? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're right.
So since we got two guys here for right now, his lady come down at 7:45, and so she gonna be
Where the bell at? Hit that bell.
so
He brave today.
And we're gonna have her on.
Well, it's still fairly new, so it's not like,
Oh, you really brave.
Nah, see, I've been married before, so you gotta know.
Wow.
I mean, I'm only 35, so I've been through a lot of different things and experiences with dating
we same age.
here, and
So were you?
before I even got here. I wasn't even dating because I was married. You know, by the time I got here,
Right.
that ended up dissolving. But what I'm saying is, it's just the process of dating is so different here.
Man,
Absolutely.
compared to other places.
Absolutely.
Not because of the amount of women that's available, just because of the person you come out of a situation being and what you learn versus what you up against. Like
Right.
we were talking about chivalry earlier. That's another thing that comes into play. Is like, I'm not doing anything different than I normally would do.
Right.
Based off the experiences I've been in life. I'm not going to change who I am as a man to satisfy any woman at that point. It's either you going to take Jessica for Jessica or it's good. You know,
So
I don't hold any ill will towards somebody with a preference. Because
So-
like you said, some women have preferences.
Yeah.
Some women don't like big dudes. You know what I mean? Or carry a little weight. They like the slim guys. That's cool by me, you know? Like you said, some women don't like the short dudes. Hell, some women don't like tall dudes. I mean, and it's rarity, but it's true. Like, depending on their height, they might feel uncomfortable if they 5'2" and somebody 6'5". They might not.
right.
You know,
No, and you absolutely right.
It really boils down to preference, and it boils down to what you like and what you willing to deal with, and the vibe you get with that person. Other than that, that's what you chase.
So for you, I'm gonna go to you first. So since you from the Midwest,
Born and raised.
what's the difference culturally dating from up north compared to down here?
I think that people are believe it or not, are way more polite here. That southern it's something about the southern people that are way more polite. They'll speak to you faster.
It's eroding.
And
It is.
I mean, it to a degree, but not as much. We never had that up north.
Absolutely
You know what I
not.
mean? Like, he can attest to that. He's from some whole different part of Midwest. I'm from Wisconsin. You know what I'm saying? And he's from different parts of the
Yeah.
Midwest.
Let me
And
tell
it's
you.
never the same.
No.
You can't approach her. You
Let
can
me-
approach a woman. You could be nice to her, and you don't even have intentions. And she'll look at you like you stole something from her.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, and that's not every woman, but I'm saying you can run into that. So being polite to someone, saying hello, how you doing, they
Yeah.
automatically assume your motive is to try to get that.
Yeah, the trust factor up north is completely different.
Yeah, it's bad.
So
I think I got an idea why though.
because like coming,
No, it's not even. I mean, this is from an anthropological standpoint.
when I moved down here, and I started getting adapted to the culture, and I remember going back up to Detroit for homecoming, and I instantly had to change my personality once I landed in Detroit, because I can't go walking around Detroit speaking to every single person like I do down here, because they're not gonna have that.
They're gonna look at you funny.
They're gonna be like, what's the
They're
problem?
gonna be like, what?
Because that's how I was when I moved down here.
You know, when people say, how you be like, hello. I mean, I'm generally a not polite person. I speak, but up north, you have to really pick and choose who you speak to.
Yeah.
You have to, because they don't embrace it.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
People,
I get
people
it.
here
I
might not
get it.
even like you. You might even run into a racist and don't know it, but they'll speak. They'll speak. They'll say hello. Up north, if they racist, they're not gonna talk to you. They'll walk right past you. Like, you
Yeah.
can say nothing. You can say hello. How you doing, sir?
Like you may not.
So let's break this down.
You may hate me,
Right.
but you're gonna speak to
They're
me.
gonna say hello.
But as our mindset, and from up north, we look at that as being fake.
Yeah, it's hell.
and down here. Okay, so I kind of want to like tackle like a couple of things I was saying. So I think down here, the fact that, you know, the South is like the belt buckle of the Bible Belt. I think there's so many women and men, and primarily women, are growing up in the church, and they grow up to see the good in people regardless of what that intuition is telling them. So you get a lot more people that are willing to kind of take a chance, you know what I'm saying? Even against their better judgment. Now, I'm saying that that's eroding away because, you know, Atlanta's like the third fastest growing city in the country.
Yeah.
And a lot of transient people are coming here. A lot of people that normally are used to not speaking and just having certain customs and norms, and it's finding its way, it's intertwining, it's kind of mixing in with the fabric. So one of the other reasons why I like the fact that even the racists will speak to you is because in some sort of way in the South, speaking to someone is the same as kind of like a handshake, and the origins of the handshake is, you know, just to show that you come in peace, that you don't hold a weapon in your hand.
Right.
The speaking is kind of like yeah, I ain't here to mess with you today type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Whereas up north, it's like you got to kind of, or not necessarily up north, but like outside of the South regionally, you got to kind of protect your neck at all times because if it'll show weakness. Down here, it's almost like a show of live to fight another day. Like it's a trust thing down here. Like I'm speaking to you, not because I'm really being polite, but I gotta make eye contact with you to get the brevity of your energy, no matter how sudden it is. I can pick up on if you mean me any harm or not. Right. Because if I speak to you and you don't speak, then I'm like, okay.
but see, that's how it is in the Midwest. It's not necessarily a I come in peace situation. It's just you just don't trust people. Yeah. If you don't know them, or if you don't know them through somebody, you don't mess with them.
Right, and you
don't
like,
even talk to them.
You don't talk to them.
Which I completely understand. Which I completely understand.
It shouldn't, in hindsight, it shouldn't be that way. We all know that, but it just is what it is, and it's been that way. It's not going to change. People are conservative. People is overly conservative, if I can be honest.
Oh no, I get it, man. I get it. Like, you know, I actually used to I dated someone from the Midwest for a little while. And she was from Minneapolis. And you know, she was biracial and she was just telling me, you know, like there's like it wasn't uncommon for a lot of excuse me, for a lot of interracial for a lot teamwork made the dream work. So you know what I mean there were just the frequency of interracial relationships was like it was very high up there. Yeah. And then I just started looking and I was just like, nah, it's something, there's an illusion of inclusion in the Midwest because, you know, this was the same place that I witnessed Philando Castile being gunned down from like several angles. And if it was that progressive up there, it would have been more of a more balanced outcry. But it seems as though I hear a lot of stories about, matter of fact, the dude, one of the University of Cincinnati, and I'm not trying to turn it into that, but what I'm saying is it's just perspective is definitely a lot different. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I was saying it definitely trickles into the dating scene. You want me to test this? Okay.
So with you being divorced, has that hindered you how you see relationships?
Nope. It actually make it better. You learn. Okay. It wasn't a situation where it ended like catastrophically. It wasn't one of them situations where you hate the other person. Okay. It ended because it needed to, out of respect for both parties, and you just move forward. But you learn a lot about yourself through that process. So it's been almost 3 years now, so it's not like it was yesterday. Right. So, you know, dating and going through the process was a lot easier for me because I knew exactly where I stood as a man. I knew what I was willing to accept. I knew what I wasn't willing to accept. Right. So it made me a lot more confident in my approach because, you know, like you said, you're going to shoot, but you're not going to make every shot. Right. So shots you do make, you can see where it goes, but you can tell you either blind yourself from the flags and move forward, or you immediately make a move on those flags knowing that that's going to be a problem going forward. So it actually helped versus hurt anything. Okay. And, you know, sometimes good can come out of it, but and it don't always end that way. Right. So I'm grateful for that, but it's supposed to, when you come out of any relationship, it's supposed to make you better than you were going in because you have to learn about how it ended, what parts you played, and what
there you go.
Once you get there, then you know how to move going forward, whether you need time to heal, whether you need time to digress and say, okay, look, I need to do this for me so that when I'm moving forward, I don't put that on her. Right. Or
there you go. On me. See, that's why I want you on the show, because I picked up on your conversation. I could tell you do a lot of your own self-work.
Got to.
And I think that's part of the problem in relationships. Men and women don't do the work. Yeah. So, you know, if I got hurt by a woman, I'm not going to go directly to another relationship because I'm taking all of the feelings I had.
Is it serial dating?
Right.
Is that a term? Is that a thing?
Oh serial yeah, absolutely.
Dating? And I heard that a couple times. I feel like people that do that, they're lonely.
Come on in. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
We got a mic.
Good. Got a mic for everything. So,
Well, I guess I can leave now, y'all. It's been fun. It's been real. You guys have a great evening.
so first of all, my name is Kevin.
Nice to meet you.
Nice. This is the Wellness Architect Show. So we've been doing like a 3-part conversation on relationships.
Okay.
So your dude's here, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have you on. He said you're becoming okay, perfect. So we can have a female perspective as well,
Okay.
on relationships and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
feel free, your authentic self. Don't worry about him. We want you to hear it.
Oh, okay.
So tell everybody what's your name and what you do and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. My name is Janelle Timberlake. I'm 32 years old. I am a choral director and dance team coach at a high school,
Cool. Okay. Cool. What school?
Rockdale County
Okay.
High School.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. I'm up that way. Well, I'm in about Lithonia, so not too
Okay,
far. Yeah.
20 straight down?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want your perspective on a couple things that we already asked them. So from a female perspective, is chivalry dead or is it no longer required?
Is chivalry dead? I don't think it's dead. I just think it is something that is not taught widespread in the community.
Okay.
I can definitely say it's not dead because I've experienced chivalry. So it's still there. And then what was the second question?
Right. So
If it wasn't you, she wouldn't have said it. Like, for real. She
Right.
wouldn't have said it.
So when you experienced it, how did you react to it? Was it something new to you?
It's not something new to me. I came from a 2-parent home where my dad definitely showed me in how he treated my mom, how it should be.
Right.
And so I recognized it. So it wasn't something that I didn't see before. So I recognized it, and so I know what it is. And
So you was able to. You're right. So you was able to appreciate it.
yes.
Okay. So the next question we had asked before you got here was, does money and status make a man sexier?
No, it doesn't. Money and status doesn't make a man sexier. Now, if you asked me when I was 22 and I just got out of school, yeah, because I didn't have any money.
Right.
So someone that had money and it was established and was older than me, yeah, you could tie that into it making a man look a certain way just because I didn't have any. But now, no, it doesn't make a man sexier. It doesn't really matter how much he makes.
Well, you think that's just you, or do you think that's the general approach as far as like women?
Good question.
Because it's I mean,
really good question.
you can say that for you because I know that, but do you think a lot of the women that you come in contact with or encounter with or just see in general, do you think that is something for the majority versus the minority of women?
Oh, yeah, I think for the majority of women, I think that money ties into if she'll date him or not. I also think it just plays into what you see on TV, what's played out in the media. That's a huge thing. A lot of the artists that you see or the actors are always throwing money around. That's like music videos. That's what you see, and the young girls see that. The girls that I work with, they see that, and so there's someone that comes in and they've got their money and they're like, oh, he's got money. So yeah, I think I'm in the minority.
Okay.
How I think.
Wow.
Scattered. She's in the scattered minority. They out there. They just few and far between.
Yeah, we're here. Yeah, we definitely
when
are
it
here.
comes to that. You
But
know
that's
what I'm saying?
that's the same with the gentlemen like ourselves,
Right,
It's like
exactly,
Coach you
right.
that with to be chivalry, to be that
Right.
is one of those things that we practice as men, but we are very limited in those men. It's not a lot of us out here.
And also, to be honest, I'm realizing now. I learned a lot, and
Right.
me and Kev, you know what I'm saying, we've been kind of in and out doing the shows or whatnot, and we've been doing the shows with our other brother, and I would like to think that these shows can kind of help chart and chronicle like my growth. So when I'm looking back, like I can look and be like, man, I was, you know what I'm saying, like I really
Right.
kind of grew. But I realized, you know, like being chivalrous for me, and I'm kind of changing my tone a little bit because I mean, just life's experiences. It'll work for you when you're being the best you.
Yep.
When you working on being the best you don't have to worry about like being taken advantage of because the universe won't.
There you go.
I told I'm growing, man.
There you go.
I told you I'm growing, man. Can I get the
that
bell,
was
man? Can I get the bell?
That was my
Can I get
concern
the
for you,
bell?
brother. That was my concern for you. You must have felt my energy because you
You know what? Honestly, it was a concept from a Kanye song. I wouldn't be Music Monk if I didn't tie everything into it. But Kanye had a song on his late registration album called Drive Slow. And I didn't really know what that meant until I physically started doing it. Like I physically started driving slow. Yeah. And it changes your perspective. Yeah. It just changes your perspective on everything. But I just realized, you know, like ultimately like being the best me, it'll funnel the people into your life that are supposed to be there that want to take advantage of you. So
bam.
So when you got a mentality of nah man, like and good guys and good women, and especially in the South, we typically tend to get funneled into relationships that are imbalanced because it may be due to the fact that that person is from the outside looking in like, oh, they're a good man or they're a good woman. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't always make a compatible relationship.
Right.
I want to be the best man for me because I know the woman who really going to appreciate that and notice what I bring to the table that I can't explain, she'll see that as opposed to the woman that I have to be like, I'm me.
Right.
The woman that recognized me, she just see me for me, and it's not here, it's not there. It's just the truth.
Man, that's learned behavior. You can't. You'll never know that until you go through things. Like a lot of people, a lot of reasons I think a lot of relationships fails because people haven't been through anything.
Right.
And then they looking online, they see all the memes, they see all people have content and conversations about relationships, but they've never really had a genuine relationship.
True.
And they've never had a genuine relationship fail.
Right.
Or even blossom into something special.
That's the hardest one.
It is.
When it fails.
Right.
A genuine relationship fails.
Because it can. And what happens to you is that changes something inside of you. You start to question, as a man at least, you start to question, damn, did I do enough? Was I enough?
Right.
Was it just me? But at the end of the day, you're supposed to grow from it.
Right.
Regardless of the negativity. If I don't care, and I do care, but I don't, in this sense, I don't care if you cheated. At the end of the day, you still have to reflect on yourself and see how you can be better out of that situation.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that in my 20s. I had to learn behavior.
Right.
You have to learn that. You know what I mean? So
right.
That only makes you better as an individual, a human being, versus just being a man in a relationship.
Because at the end of the day, most relationships are purposeful.
Yeah.
So you got to understand what the purpose is. And a lot of times in relationships, when the purpose has ended, sometimes we try to hold on to the relationship when the purpose is already ended, which make it worse. And
I learned a little while ago that our attachments, I learned this like back when I was in college, smoked a lot. I remember some things.
As long as it wasn't cigarettes, because
nah.
Net gonna get you if you smoke cigarettes. She gonna get you.
Nah, man,
right now, don't be smoking with cigarettes.
Man, I'm in the trails every day.
She gonna get you.
I'm in the trails running.
I know I just met you today, but she will say some things to you if you smoking with cigarettes.
This is my fellow Virgo sister over here, so I already know when she goes in, she means well, and she's usually gonna be right. So, but nah, I just what was I saying? Oh no! I learned that our attachments is what cause our suffering. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. You know that's a wise lesson trying to understand and unfold at a young age. But I get it now. It's like when you hold on to something, it's like the monkey trap, and they just put a piece of salt or something or in a hole, and all the monkey has to do. I think Dave Chappelle was talking about this.
Yeah.
He was saying that all the monkey had to do.
Let go of the banana.
Yeah, just let go of it.
But you won't let go because you can't get it out.
Right. And that's what caused the suffering. So you're chafing, you're bleeding, you're all over the place because you're causing more pain because all you had to do was just learn the lesson and understand that everybody is seasonal. Even your spouse is seasonal.
It can be. Yeah.
It can be.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I mean, at some point, I mean, say your spouse is no longer here, like earthly in a physical form.
Yeah.
If you still hold on to it, then you know what I'm saying? Like, so nothing is permanent. The idea of permanence is what really affects us. That's why we can't let go.
Right.
That's my point.
So I want Janelle,
yes,
and Ned, I want y'all to answer this question first, and then the guys gonna follow up.
Oh God.
So I got this text from a guy when he saw that I was gonna have part 3, and the question was why. He's generalizing women. I'm not, but I'm gonna give it to him.
Okay.
He said, "Why, in conversation or a debate, women have a hard time listening to understand instead of listening to respond." So whoever want to go first.
You said, say that. You said.
He said women have a hard time listening to understand instead of listening to respond.
That's deep.
Do you want to go first?
Ask this today.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he did.
It's out there
I
now.
got anxiety
Well, it's
just
out there
thinking
now.
about
We
this
can't really
question.
take it back, unfortunately.
Some women are firecrackers by nature. They don't always understand that it takes time. You know, you have to really try to take it all in what people are saying. But sometimes it's like it's not just them. It's like coming from both ways. It's like I'm gonna be right, and the guy say I'm gonna be right. So I mean, it's hard to really. That one is.
Can I interrupt you for
Yeah.
just a second, respectfully?
Go.
He ain't asked about both of us.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm still thinking.
we need we need strictly from, because what he really asking is
Go ahead.
why women got to be right at all costs.
Oh no.
Well-
Okay, so that on that I will say that maybe
I knew
you should
that would
always
get a
leave.
better.
You should always leave a window to be wrong. You should always leave a window to apologize, even if you're not wrong. Sometimes it's like it's a compromise. You have to figure out what works.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Maybe I needed a better question.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you between the eyes. I'm gonna be like, boom, this is why y'all think y'all always. Okay, I'm sorry.
You know, as a woman, I'm always going to be right.
Where's my water?
But I think it has to do with the fact of wanting to be right, and there's a way, like she was saying. I'm not. What was your name again? Net. Okay. Like Net was saying, you have to, even if you are right, and if there's two of you, and you guys are on opposite sides of the argument or the conversation, you have to compromise, because at the end of the day, there's only two of you. There's not a third person to be a mediator. So I think some women are unwilling to just say, listen, you have it. For me, if I know I'm right and I've said I'm right, but he doesn't know it, I'm gonna say, okay, all right, and I'll just wait until it's proven that I'm right. And
Right.
I'm okay with
Right.
I'm okay with the waiting. It's fine.
Yeah, and to
'Cause
that note, I mean, some women don't understand how much it gets to a man for them to have to hear "I told you so" kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that really
This
makes
is
it go
beautiful.
south, even though what go.
This is beautiful, ladies. This is beautiful. But I learned, this is another one of those lessons that I've learned, Mr. Wellness Coach. He's my de facto wellness coach. I get his, I feed on his
He
teachings
just
via
called another client
osmosis.
because he gonna be mine too. I guess. Cool with that.
I think a more detailed question would be, and this is what I had to learn. I had to learn that it's not about being right. It's about how I respond when I'm right. Because how I respond when I'm right will ultimately dictate how I am when I'm wrong. And that's the part that I didn't figure out. I had to tie it all in together. If I can be right, and it's not about me being right, then if there comes a situation when I'm wrong, the fact that I'm not always browbeating because I'm right, I can accept when someone else can call me out. And that's why I say a lot of times when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'm talking to myself first. You
Right.
just happen to be on the other end. But I'm really talking to myself, because I know that when I'm wrong, if I'm always harping on being right, and I think that's where the disconnect with men and women come in, because women love to be right. So the moment when y'all are wrong, just real talk, it's a price to pay. And it may come in, you may be arguing, you will argue up and down. And I'm not saying you specifically, obviously, Nat, but I'm just saying in general, there will be an argument when all this should have been was just just acquiesce. Just be like, it's just because you're wrong about this doesn't mean I'm going to view you any less. It doesn't take away from your magic. It doesn't take away from me loving you. It just means that you are a human being.
Right.
And a lot of times,
and
a lot of times, just to be real, what was frustrating me was, and I'm probably gonna get some flack for this. I'm just gonna let you. I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there.
All right.
Dishonesty develops out of wanting to be right all the time.
Right.
Okay.
Can I read what somebody put on here?
Sure.
Because I think that it kind of does play a point. Then I'll say what I have to say. Because I'm gonna speak generally because I think that we are all educated in here, so we'll give a great educated answer from our point of view. But what you got to remember is a generalization of that happens in many different relationships. But Robin Shockley, women want to put their guard because they sense when a man is going to reject. So
hey,
we take
Robin.
a leadership role in trying to be in charge so we don't get hurt. Now, I don't agree to all this, but it's in the general public that goes in this direction. Personally, if a man is open and honest, I'm not quick to judge who is right or wrong. I listen and do my best to understand his point of view. Men and women need to respect each other's opinions. I agree 115%.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people should generally look to that. That's right. And I think that...
I should have known Robin said that.
Yeah, it was, she dropped the jewel. So, in a general sense now, because that's just the way it should be. Now, generally speaking... I'm going to guarantee that most men are going to say these exact words. Women don't respond, they react because they're emotional creatures. They're more emotional than men.
Right.
Wrong.
I ain't never said that.
Wrong.
Men require
generalization.
require more emotional nurturing.
Yes, because they're
to
more
be honest.
insecurities don't show because of the pride. But that's the general, and people are afraid to attack the generalization because most men, if not a great percentage, will say, oh, the way to get out of an argument is just you too emotional about it. I'm not as emotional. Actually, you are, because you're trying to deflect their emotions on what you really feel about it, whether you're right or wrong. So to me, I think that they generalize it to avoid the conflict. Like you said, why the women sometimes are more reasonable because the guy's argument isn't prepared. It isn't logical enough to advance the conversation. Exactly. So therefore, the woman's not going to want to listen to you. And then that's why they keep it short. And they be like, well, okay, all right, baby. Well, I do this, I do that. No, you emotional. That ain't how it really is.
But then I agree with you on the flip side. It is emotional because our feelings is hurt because we feel that you are not willing to listen to how we feel. And so our feelings get hurt. It's feel like that how we feel is not warranted or cared by the woman.
Right. Some women don't validate feelings, and I guess it all plays into what you learn, because some women don't learn that. Some women don't have good role models. Working with young girls, their parents aren't home or their mothers aren't home, and their parent, and they may not know who their father is, so they just don't know how to do it. Would they do it if they knew? I'd say yeah, but they just don't know how to validate or how to communicate.
And I think, and I tell everybody, whether it's a client or people on the show, a book that I think everybody should read is The 5 Love Language. Whether it's somebody you dating, you married, or family members or friends, right? And once you figure out what your strong love language is, and you tell that to your significant other, your husband, then you can set that person up to win, because now he or she will know what they need to do to help you receive love. You know what I'm saying?
If they're willing to
if they're willing to do that. Because my friend, she knows I'm not the emotional one. So all the I love you stuff doesn't really do nothing for me. But she know if she does things for me, then that's like.
Are you the I know guy?
No. I just need you. If you do acts of service for me, then
I've heard about that book. I mean, and that book is very important. A lot of smart people I know looked to that book and gained a lot of information from that book. But at the end of the day, you still have to base it off of, once you get that information, how are you going to use it?
How you going to use it?
You know what I mean? That's really, because people can get the information
and don't want to apply
we
it.
talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was here when we talked about that. We were talking about how certain people can manipulate a situation based off of the information they get from someone.
Right.
So I know you like music, so I will use music to get in good with you to gain an advantage in life some way, shape, or form. Men and women do this in many relationships, but they're not genuine with their approach. So it's hard to be someone like yourself that, you know, that wants to date, but that finds yourself like, man, is that person really genuine? Do they have motives? Do they really like my music? Do they really like music in general? Or what kind of game are they playing? So it's just really about how you find out what that person is up to, the flags. Do you approach it? Do you stop? So it's a different way you can do it, especially at our age. You know, when you're younger, you don't really care. You know, but when you're older, everything has substance and time waits for nobody. So you can't really just wait and sit in the moment. You do that, then everything passes you by.
Right.
You forget how to do anything. So, you know, it's important.
So I have a question. So a lot of times you hear on social media or on TV, everybody's in defense mode. The men say what the women don't do, or what the women are not. Women say what the men don't do, or what the men are lacking, or what the situation may be. So what can we do to stop trying to discredit the men and the women and try to heal the situation? And so we got to try to create better relationships.
You gotta ask them. You gotta ask them now.
Well,
we lead to the women for that one. Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at you. I want to know what
you want to answer that first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was gonna say that. I know.
Well, I honestly think from a woman's from my perspective, because I can't speak for all women, because I know that my mind, the way I think is a little different. But I think that women should stop looking for men to do things for them, and instead do. Oh,
you can't reach it.
I felt like now I can reach it. I just feel like I was about to knock over everything.
Yeah, stop looking for men to do things like, what can he do for me? You know, as an adult, and I'm sure that this is an adult radio show. You know, I have been able to do for myself, and I do well for myself. So I'm not looking for someone to do something for me. But it's like the addition, like there are things that I need from a man, but as far as, you know, like providing, I'm capable of doing that on my own. And also I heard about givers and takers. Stop trying to be a taker and be more of a giver in a relationship. And I think if both are giving, then that is a fruitful relationship.
Okay, I like that.
Can I get that one? Can I jump on that one?
You sure?
Hey.
Can I jump on that one? All right, check
I got two bell rings.
This is my perspective on that. For one, the way you heal is you got to take responsibility for your part of what happens in a relationship.
Absolutely.
Point blank.
Absolutely.
There is no way you can progress in any situation or relationship without taking responsibility for what you've done or have done, and you can't allow your future relationships to be based off of what you've done in your past relationships. Everything has to be new. If it's not new, then you're going to drag over old things, which initially causes problem in a new relationship.
Right.
So that's one, in my opinion. You just take responsibility.
Right.
I mean, like I said, I have to learn. You know, you learn a lot of things once you go through things, but you learn at the end of the day, taking responsibility for your part and making sure that the other person acknowledges that and they recognize, okay, even if it doesn't end the way you want it to, at least you can end it in a situation where you see somebody on the street like, damn, they're going to say something funny to me or disrespect me. No. And be an adult about the situation.
Right.
Take responsibility and move forward. But communication is going to be the key in that, because you have to acknowledge that. You can't just think it in your head.
Right.
Because then how does that other person know that you really taking responsibility for that?
Right.
That's key to me. It's very important, because if you're not communicating, then all you have is a disconnect to where this person doesn't know what you're saying. They can't read minds. But, you know, it's crucial. But that's my opinion. I think that the way we heal that in relationships is by taking responsibility. A lot of
I
people
agree.
won't. If you don't take responsibility for something, you'll never genuinely have something that's going to be concrete or real
Right.
or authentic, because you're never really being honest with yourself.
Right.
And you carry that. You carry that.
I
into
agree.
Relationships, into relationships. And then, like you said, like when people, they don't want a relationship, they jump right back into another. You
Right.
didn't heal yourself enough
You didn't heal yourself.
to go back in. Now,
Right.
that's just my opinions. People can move how they want to move, but I think the best way to do it is taking responsibility, healing, and communicating that so that you can move on without feeling like,
Absolutely.
you're stuck.
I'm a big proponent of, healing and, taking full responsibility. You'll never hear me speak ill of any woman I dated because
You gotta learn. That's something you learn.
Because-
You can't think somebody younger than us, because we're just at a different plateau
Right.
in life. But imagine in our early 20s,
yeah,
we didn't have that.
yeah, I was mad.
Yeah,
But now, even then I was mad, but I still never really spoke ill about them. But I learned in my 20s that I attracted who I was or my thoughts.
Oh, okay. You track who you are? Type
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
in my 20s, I tell this all the time. In my 20s, I was a party boy, so I was that type of dude that I was very selfish. So as the good girls would never come my way because I was not willing to give them what they need because I was all about the party. So
Okay.
I attracted party girls.
Gotcha.
And so because we could get along just fine, they didn't want nothing from me. I didn't want nothing but a good time. Then as I got older and I started to change, I had to change how I saw women.
Yeah.
And then my taste in women changed as I changed. And as I changed and how I saw women affected what I try to attract. So the women I attracted in my 20s don't even come my way now. Because
You're not partying anymore.
I'm not
You're
partying.
not party boy. You didn't live.
I lived, I don't did enough, and all that kind of stuff. But so that, like you said, but then too, when things did dissolve, I understood. I can't blame what they did. I might not like what they did to me, but I had to look at myself and say, what did I bring to the situation?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I played a part. It takes two to a relationship to form, and it takes two for it to dissolve. We all play a part in it. No matter how big or small, we play a part in it. So it's up to us to figure out what part do we play, so we can learn from it and move on. So we won't do the same thing again.
Right.
And I think that's the part that we don't really do.
We have to learn to.
Right.
Versus because a lot of that is not learned behavior.
Right.
It's just reaction off of something that happened or a situation that might have occurred or a way you feel about something and you're not completely in control of it, or you could be in your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about that too. Like feelings are seriously real. I think a lot of men don't even embrace it because their pride is in the way of that, which makes it hard for us to really articulate to people how we feel or communicate properly.
Well, men society-wide, but even more specifically, black men are ostracized. And from within our own man culture, from within our own guy culture, and also from the relationship aspect, because it's funny how when when we're younger, the things that we encounter or the things that we really need to grow us, we run away from those things. And it's like so, for example, a man, like for me, I wasn't the football, well, I was the football player, but I wasn't like, well, hold on, I guess I kind of did my,
you was the man.
But honestly though, I wasn't really the man because I didn't come in I'm the man package. Let me just say that.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm the man, you know what I'm saying? But I had to grow into understanding that I was the man. But back then, you know what I'm saying, I had to cultivate my mentals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know what I'm saying, I had my fair share, you know what I'm saying, I did my thing. But I just noticed, you know what I'm saying, overall when it comes down to to just approaching relationships, you know what I'm saying, and how I feel like what I'm getting from the relationship. And I think I lost my train of thought. Where are we going here? What was we talking about? Give me
healing from how can we heal so we can create better relationships? And we were saying about, being authentic about what we did in the situation.
Right. So I was like, I had a skewed sense of who I was as a person. You know what I'm saying? I felt like how I was going about the relationships. I felt like I had to be like some mystic, or like I had to overcompensate, you know what I'm saying? Not for anything that I was lacking, but from the fact that I was just like, nah, this girl she don't want to talk to me. Cause I'm saying, like, she used to this other type of dude. And it wasn't until I got to college that I realized that the dude that can communicate well and that's sensitive, it didn't completely play itself out, but I started to see like highlights of it. You know what I'm saying? But then that even developed into something weird, because I felt like the chicks was like, they was getting all of this other stuff from me, but visually they kind of wanted to still be seen with the dude who they thought was popular. But the whole time I was a popular dude. You know what I'm saying? It was just, you know what I'm saying? So it's all a cycle, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the sensitive man is the man that I feel like ultimately wins at the end of the day.
All right, so we got Mr. Laris.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Sorry,
So this is our new brethren of Instinct Radio. He starts the show next Wednesday.
I don't know. I've talked to Ned about it. She might try to put me on next week. And soon, it's coming soon. Okay. It's a Wednesday night show. Kicking back with J. Cole. It's a variety show, so we'll have a lot of different things. I love to have you guys on, and we can cross over.
And then we will love. I'm gonna speak for you. We gonna love to have you on Beer and Conversation. That's his show. So.
That's tomorrow, right?
That's tomorrow from 6 to 8.
Okay.
Welcome to come down.
Yeah.
And we'll have beer.
I'm from Wisconsin, so that's second nature. That's second nature to me, Unfortunately, it's beer downtown everywhere in Wisconsin. But
tell everybody who you are, and then we're gonna go from there.
Oh, sure. Good to have you here, then.
Thank you.
I'm Laris Hodges, host of Beer and a Conversation, Tuesday night, 6 to 8. I think truly a Renaissance man. I'll just summarize it with that. But my good brother and colleague Kevin Thornton, always honored to be down here to support him.
I appreciate that. I look at Laris as the resident bad boy to a certain extent. Smart guy.
That's good to know.
Smart guy.
Good to know.
But the reason why I say that is because the ladies have a love-hate relationship with Laris. The listeners, I'll say that.
But in real life,
in real life, they love him.
They love-hate relationship. You gotta have balance, right?
There it is.
Because and I want you to dismiss this narrative of you, because I'll wait for you to come. My listeners love you, but they love to hate you too. And so, do you believe that you are a male chauvinist?
Probably by the way that they receive it, yes, and rightfully so. I earn it, and I'm going to go into that in depth. Now, as we sat here, I didn't know I wanted to say something about my daughter, and I'm so happy that you phrased the question where you did to give me inroads to kind of go that way.
Right.
My daughter just called me, and I made a mistake for her birthday, and I did something that I shouldn't have done. It was her 13th birthday, and I embarrassed her, and I'm sorry about that. And,
now I want to know what happened.
I'll tell you off the air. But
it was egregious, though.
It was.
Oh, okay.
And I have never been. I haven't been this embattled internally and sad as I was, because she hasn't talked to me in over a week. So she called me while I was sitting here just now, and I'm so sad that I missed that call. But I promised her I will call her when we get done. Now, with regard to that, I do believe when I talk about my daughter that women in general do need to be led, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that they have an internal desire, a subconscious internal desire to be led, but I don't think that they should just follow any man either. So I think that we need to be fair about that. You know what I mean? I think that there's a
Ned with the bell.
there's a burden of leadership responsibility and
I'm not gonna do it.
a number of different things
Right.
associated with men that men need to constantly seek self-evaluation. You know what I mean? Because we constantly are the ones who are asking women to listen and to evaluate themselves and to look at things differently. But it really does begin with us. And I think that we in so many different ways we've talked about you have to be what it is that you want. And I think that when we begin to understand that the subconscious nature of woman, despite what she says, and it gets hard to not listen to what she says, right? You know what I'm saying? Because words have power. I mean, we wouldn't be on the radio if we didn't believe that,
Right.
Very
Right.
much so.
Okay.
Very much so.
Right.
You know, so I think that we believe that words have power. Not only do we believe, we are certain that words have power. Because
Right.
the belief is to be somewhat uncertain.
Right.
So let me clarify that. What is it that we can do as men with the natural God-given ordained power that we have to empower our women, to turn power back over to, in most cases, the better half, more strategic side of us? You know what I mean? And so chauvinistically, by design, by societal definition, I do fit that rubrics because I believe that women innately desire leadership. And that's why they need it, because they innately desire it. And at the end of the day, but they want something good to believe in. And I think the burden is on us to be that what they believe in.
Okay, and why do you? I know you might be wanting to have the response, but why do you think we're lacking those leadership qualities?
Well, because we're weak. Me or
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Look.
Say
I told Jacob when, regardless of what time you get here,
Oh yeah.
when you come, you're gonna bring the fire. So
Well, I'll just.
here you
I
go.
mean, from what I've
Those
seen,
are facts.
Yeah, from
Those
what
are
I've seen,
facts.
we're weak. We're weak for two reasons. The first reason is because you know what I'm saying, we're slaves to our male faculties. You know what I mean? I think that makes us weak, but I don't think that that's the weakest thing about us. I think the weakest thing about us is that we cannot think for ourselves, and we are more slaves to traditional thinking and our inability to challenge traditional thinking.
Okay.
I think that's the worst thing about us as men in society, and particularly as black men here in these United States of America, is that women are, in every other area, they're much stronger. I question integrity with a lot of our women, but for the most part, they're sharper. They're what any group, any subsection of society that become more disadvantaged than others become more resilient. They have greater survival skills. And we have bought into a narrative of black men that actually not only does it not suit us, but we're not the beneficiary of it when we buy into this, how can I say it, this establishment white male construct. Not all white men, but I'm saying the establishment white male construct does not work for us.
Patriarchy.
As
Patriarchal
black men.
dominance.
Right.
It's more specifically.
And so what's happened is that we've tried to, but let's be fair. There's been gains that we're seeing by black men who are our seniors, fathers, uncles, grandfathers, due to their level of compliance and the standing that the U.S. had in the world at that time made it somewhat equitable. So I don't want to put all of the blame on them for their compliance to it. But for the most part, it doesn't suit us. And we have been putting down our women. We have taken on the characteristic traits of our oppressor. And it doesn't work for our women. And now what we're experiencing now in the last, I would say 7 to 8 years in, going forward, is just the blowback of just intolerance from them with result to a lot of these things. This is a good thing, though. And the reason why I say it is that because if we help to create the problem, we can correct it. But it really does begin with us.
Okay. What's your thoughts?
Oh, well, I definitely agree. Is it
Lyris.
Laris? Okay. I agree with Laris when he stated that women look for a man to lead. I agree with him when he says that women shouldn't just look for any men because, you know, sometimes the blind leading the blind, and you don't want that. So it's like you have to, I think for a woman, you have to be able to identify something in a man, and he has to identify something in you, and then that's who you are to follow. So I agree with him wholeheartedly about that, and I think more so on a spiritual level. And that's just me and my background. I also agree with him when he says that you know, that there are men that are weak, but I think it's because, and again, I work with children, and I used to work with children from 12 to 13, 14, and now I'm in the high school, you know, 14 to 18. And so a lot of the young men don't have any guidance at home. They don't know how. And so if you have young men that have no one to look up to, then they, you know, graduate from high school and then they're out in the world running around, and there's no one to corral them together or to show them the right way. And they are at a disadvantage, and it's difficult. It's not impossible, but it's something like they have to want to do it for themselves, but then they have to recognize that there's something to do. So it kind of starts at home with the parents, and, you know, the parents have these children. And then you have the children, and then you have to be able to instill in them, you know, the right things, unless they're just, you know, it's just going to be a continuous cycle.
Okay.
So
I like that.
I agree. I think that it's he says a lot of weak men out here. The reason there's weak men out here is because those weak men have no, like she said, they have no guidance on where to gain strength from, what real strength is in a man, and how you determine leadership abilities that you get from training from men before you. It doesn't have to be, like you said, the status quo of what they did back in the day. It's your representation of how you see a man moving forward, how you would raise a son, hell, how you would raise your daughter, you know, to look at a man and how he's supposed to approach, like yourself, somebody that can articulate certain topics and subjects, and they don't have to be a genius with millions of degrees. They just have to learn these things. And I don't think that we're getting a lot of education from those men. And not in our positions, but I guess in positions that people are having kids. We're having kids that are having kids. So what can an 18-year-old teach a 5-year-old? What can a 20-year-old that has no experience, that barely graduated from high school, that didn't go to college because they have to raise this kid, what is he going to teach that kid? You going to teach him how to play basketball? You going to teach him how to play football? You going to teach him how to play Xbox? I mean, what are you teaching them? And then in the turn result we get those kids that are out here that have no guidance. They don't know how to treat a woman. They don't know how to respectfully approach a woman. They don't know how to articulate, how to express to a woman how they feel. The communication is a factor, and I preached that earlier about relationships, but that's just in general. You should still be able to speak to someone and them to understand you, regardless if you're not making just the simplest of simple points versus something that might be a little more difficult for them to comprehend. But they don't know that. So what you get is a lot of people running around just clueless, and it's almost like having like zombies walking around because they don't know, they don't have any goals, they don't know where to go, and it's like that's not the type of person I would want my daughter to be around. I mean, shit, I'm being honest with you. I mean, I don't care if it's somebody in my family, if they're not being properly guided or properly raised to a point where I can look at them like, okay, I wouldn't mind them taking my daughter out on a date. You know, I'm not for it. My son's 3 years old. When he gets I'm going to train him to make sure he knows how to properly do things. And he'll be an anomaly because it won't be many like him.
And Kevin, I don't want to interrupt. When you finish, I do want to ask him a direct question. If you're okay with that.
And for me, it's like I learned from a lot of people, and I did things my way. And obviously, it wasn't always the right thing to do as I was growing up. From my 20s to now, I'm 35. But what I did learn is the things are usually core. You treat people right, you do right by people, and good things come from that. Now that's just general, but that's not in depth, but that's what you all want at the end of the day. You just want to be treated right, and you want to treat somebody right.
Right.
And that's just how I look at it. I think that that's the best way to look at it, especially when you have somebody that has limited education or just information on how to do something. So.
Yeah. So I think that you said something key, and it really it moved with me on my wavelength here. And we get talking about you said how you gonna train your son, and I know how I train my daughter.
Right.
And I think that there's a general acceptance. And now, he didn't confess. You didn't confess.
Mm-hmm.
You confessed. Wait. We're in the dark room. We're in the dark room. But I got what you said about what you said you were in your 20s and how you were and what you didn't look for and how you dealt with women. I think that if I can speak for all of us here, there's a general acceptance that we didn't do things the right way.
Absolutely.
And not only did we not do them the right way, but to a degree, maybe we didn't know how.
Right.
And with that being said, now we're on the radio because we believe words have power, and we're solution-based people now. So here's what I have to look at. My daughter's going to have to date at some point. You would raise your son to be a certain way.
Right.
Would you be willing, as I am, to say to a young man who's marrying your daughter, who may not have been taught how to do it, then now my job is to raise him and cultivate him how to even be a man.
Right.
At this point in time. And it's not just to if he's marrying your daughter or whomever, but just another man in society. If we can get to solutions in general. We have done wrong. Do we owe back to teach?
That's a good question. I think that we should, and I think that we do. And the reason I say that is how are we going to move forward as a society if we don't teach somebody else?
Absolutely.
I mean, I coach back in, a couple of years back, I would coach kids in different sports at sports camps. And some of those kids didn't have fathers. They just had moms that dropped them off.
Right.
So it's just as I'm coaching them on how to play a sport, you can come to a situation, I would have zero problem with doing that if I had a daughter. Because if she likes him enough, I should be able to invest my time with that kid if he doesn't have that source to maybe uplift him to be that source. Truth be told, he might not work out with my daughter. But at the end of the day, at least he gained some value on his own life. Now, is every guy going to say that? Absolutely not. They'll have guns toted at the window waiting. Sniper rifles. I mean, they're going to go for the kids' head because they don't care.
Yeah, but I think
it's
the
not
other
many
way
of
is
us.
more effective.
150%. I mean, obviously, we don't.
Even if we agree it doesn't work out for our children,
Man,
it's
absolutely.
still a more effective approach.
At least you left that gentleman with information that he didn't have before, a different way to look at it. I agree with you. I think that if we had more men doing that versus just judging a guy that they see their daughters with, we would be better off.
I agree.
Everybody won't do it, but a little bit at a time, it would make a difference. I agree with you.
Were you gonna say something? Okay.
No.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure I was going around.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's important, and he knows this because we do this all the time. We work in education, so we're always dropping nuggets. And you have to know how to get to the younger generation, including us, because we're early millennials, right? So you got to know how to reach the young people for the lesson to stick. And the lesson doesn't stick with bombardment. That's not how the lesson sticks. The lesson sticks when you have those moments in the hallway when you can get a little clarity.
Yep.
You can say, hey, you know what I'm saying? You can drop something on them, one or two sentences, and let them think about it. For example, I have my 19-year-old second cousin. She's a young lady. She's like my daughter. You know what I mean? Because of the age difference, you know what I mean? But she's like my daughter, and I've been working with her, trying to get her up here to West Georgia. She's transferring from another school, and I've been teaching her how to drive and this, that, and the third. And a situation happened with my cousin, who's her mom, and I use that as an opportunity to give her a life lesson about relationships. And this was the lesson that I gave her. I said, Ty, you know I love you. You know you like my daughter. I said, don't make me have to mess somebody up because you made the wrong decision. And what I meant by that was, you're going to come across people in your life, right? But you have to have the power of discernment to not associate yourself with this knucklehead boy. Because if the knucklehead boy do something to you, then I got to put hands on the knucklehead boy because I'm going to react out of a protective mindset. But if I can teach you how to navigate, then you won't put yourself in a position for you to have to call B. You know what I'm saying? If you have to call somebody to come whoop up on somebody because you put yourself in the wrong position.
Right.
And that goes for the young men as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling them, just because your boys say, hey man, come over here, man, she says she'll do whatever you want. Young man, don't go. Don't put me in a position to where I got to get bail money. I got to put up my house. I got to do all this type of stuff because you wanted to have some quick fun. And that's what we got to show. We got to show the young generation in terms of relationships, in terms of dealing with the opposite sex. Take the time out to just think a little bit before you make a move. If we can just, because we gonna make mistakes. I made mistakes. We all made mistakes.
Yeah.
We all moved too fast. We all did stuff we shouldn't have been doing. The difference between the younger generation and us is that, number one, we were blessed. You know what I'm saying? We had community behind us.
Yeah.
We had the benefit of just having a chosen path, but also we didn't go to the extreme. I don't live on the edge like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So while all my counterparts were in school having a great time, talking about doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, moderation, I had to be moderate. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to live like that. And I appreciate that now because even with my gray hair, if I told you with knowing my age, we look young. You know the people, you know the 80s babies who live hard. And the 80s babies who live moderate. And we are amongst the moderates because we don't have a ton of age on us because we went out there tripping. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is when it comes to women being led, is that was my whole, that was me tying it all into it.
And
just don't lead me into a dark alley to fight for your honor. You know what I'm saying? When we ain't got to do that.
The only problem with that is too, I think that because of the way the times changed, things are a lot more wild than they were because you have social media, you have different outlets. Everybody has a camera. Everybody can shoot everything. I think back when we were younger,
and I agree,
the access wasn't there. So even if we did dirt, a lot of people didn't know. We wasn't putting it on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. Like, look what we doing. It was this unspoken thing. You did some dirt. It stuck with you, even to this day.
And I agree.
You know what I mean? But I agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying to a degree, the reason I think that we were so blessed to live in that during that time period is because we didn't have access.
So let's use that lesson because
absolutely
let's use the lesson where we live in a microwave society, right? So your consequences come that much faster.
Yeah.
So we have to show them that you thinking that it's all cool, the YOLO and you know what I'm saying, fear of missing out and all of that type of stuff. But you know, things can happen and you can make a bad decision. We used to go to Sparkles back in the day. The girls that was in the middle of the circle at Sparkles who was doing all kind of twerking before it was twerking, they benefited from us not having technology. My daughter can't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I have to let her know when you make a bad decision,
it's right there.
Musically, y'all know I'm tying some music into it real quick. Childish Gambino, my favorite artist, right? You know what I'm saying? Love Bino, right? On his second to last album, the name of the album was called Because the Internet. He has a line at the end of the album. He said, because of the internet, mistakes are forever.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes,
true.
Period. So
Kanye West constant, drive slow, homie.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Drive slow. You know.
Drive slow.
You got anything you want to add to that?
What was the original question?
By the time
Blame it on Net. She should have.
Net
should have been on it.
I'm offering a different question. Even though you have somebody, do you think online dating is the wave of the now, or is the old traditional way of meeting somebody out, is that far gone?
Well, I'll be honest, because when I first got out of school, if someone told me about online dating, I'd be like, what? No, absolutely not. But I think for where we are now, I think online dating has become more acceptable or accepted and normalized. And for me, I don't want to say it was online dating, but I did. I met him online. We were in a singles group, and it was online, and that's how I met him. I think you can still meet people out. For me, it's a little weird. Like I really, when I'm at the grocery store, I don't want someone, coming up behind me. And actually, someone did. I was in Walmart maybe like a year or so ago.
Walmart is
And
a club.
yeah, well, and I was in one area, and I guess it was in the back by the games. And someone came up and they were saying, "Oh, I like your hair." I was like, "Oh, thank you." But when I'm out, like I'm not really trying to. I don't know. I'm trying to do what I need to do and go home. And then I was in another area. I think I was in the women's area, and he came back, and I was like, okay.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, hey.
This is why dating is so hard.
It is.
For us.
But because like she said, online dating. I mean,
I didn't mean that.
I want to hear what he has to say about online
I want to
dating.
finish hearing her Walmart story.
Oh,
Yeah,
and then let us all share our
because I got some online BS
Yeah,
that I can share, guys.
But yeah, so then I saw him, and I think I was in the women's section, and he came back, and then he was talking, and I was still looking at him weird because I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I saw you in the back of Walmart. Were you following me? And I think he kind of was. And then we exchanged numbers. I talked on the phone. And
Pause. All the creep. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
All the creepy stuff. He followed you around Walmart, and then she just brushed over. Yeah, well, actually, after we exchanged numbers, like I think.
Because I never that had never happened. I remember calling my mom.
So he caught you off guard.
It did because I know my face. Like I have a face where you can see what I'm thinking and my reactions. So I know I was looking crazy. I knew I was like, okay.
But you rewarded him for making you uncomfortable. Now let me just say this. Let me throw this caveat in there. It's creepy for someone to meet you up front, visually, in person, and show you who they are, as opposed to meeting a stranger online and then breaking the ice. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But how the times have changed to where we will subject ourselves to the what am I trying to say when you're a voyeur? Voyeuristic tendencies of society. Yeah. It's like, think about it. The swipe right, like there's actually a term for when you're upset with your partner and you go online and you swipe. They call it rage swiping. Oh, it's new. So many nuances to the online world. It's like it's hit or miss. Y'all lucked up. I'm gonna tell you, because I feel y'all energy. Y'all lucked up. For the most part, it's a crapshoot.
Well, but it's also about communication, because I was on Tinder. I was on Tinder.
Just tell me.
We all been on Tinder.
And then I'll tell you about my. But I'm just kidding, so,
for me, I'm a communicator. I like to talk. And I also feel like, you should be able to have a conversation. We should be able to talk about different topics, and it should flow. If it's awkward on the phone, then I know that I'm not going to want to sit and do something. And so for that, I think we talked probably 2 or 3 times on the phone. They were kind of short. And for me, if I know that I am not interested, if I'm looking at the phone, trying to find a way to get off the phone, then we're not. It's not gonna go, and that's how it was. And so then I ghosted. I'm a little ashamed about that.
It's equally as safe as it is dangerous, because you allow people to be what they want. People can be whatever they want to be when they present themselves to you online. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, well, to the point earlier, which said, as you responded to it, I think even with the young women that we deal with, it's important too, and I'm going to get to the online dating because I think that is muy importante. We also, as men, have to be the example of what they can encounter, possibly. Mm-hmm. And so, working at Atlanta Public Schools, I have come across probably a larger share of young ladies who identify sexually with the same sex. Well, I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem on a number of different levels, and we don't even have the kind of time to get into that. Some of it is learned through media. Some of it is learned through home. And there's not a listener that's going to be able to lie and say that it's not. All right? Now, whether it's happening in that home or not, it's they say there's 6 degrees of separation between people. That is a phenomenon. That's maybe 1 to 2 degrees of separation. If it ain't happening to you, you can reach out and touch somebody that's close to you.
Yes, sir.
So we need to be honest about that. We need to stop lying about it. Now, my thing is what I've seen is that as we have been kind to these babies, to these young ladies, they have developed an all-like love for us as men, because they didn't even realize that they were yearning for what a real man can
In the
have
realm
to
of
offer.
education.
Well,
right?
not. I'm talking about in romance.
You talking
There
about
is
romance.
there's a
Okay.
romantic
I was just trying to make sure we
element
was-
associated
yeah.
with sometimes how they view us, even though respectfully, and I can say on the record and off the record, that I've never crossed that line or even had a desire to cross that line. But it was almost like, wow, I have never even seen what a real man looks like.
Right.
And how he can be kind and gentle and loving and well put together and
Because she didn't
handsome.
get her first love, which should have been her
Exactly.
father.
And so we owe that debt back too to make up for the filth that we've helped to contribute
Hey,
to.
man.
Now, let's. It's tough.
It's a honey, though.
wait,
He
wait,
said field, dog. When he said field, I was like,
come
golly, we was
but
that
come
bad.
on, but I mean, we
it
need
was
to,
pretty
we
bad,
need,
bro.
we need
It was
it,
pretty
well, and
bad.
it's not just so much about what we
I'm
perpetuated,
teasing. You know
but
I'm
it's so
teasing.
much
I'm
about
teasing.
what we accepted as real and then perpetuated. Now we know enough to know that what Snoop and them was talking about was not real, and that they were backed by powers that wanted this message to be put out. Now let's go forward with regard to online dating. Now, I've never online dated once in my whole life. Not one time. I'll be 36 next month. Not one time have I online dated. Have I accepted referrals? Yes. I'm going to tell you something. I don't think that any of the women I met were bad women. I think that you need to meet people in person. There's no getting around it, because when you sit in person, there's no filter. Especially for men. I'm gonna speak specifically for men, and I'll go to your point about communication. Specifically, a man is not going to settle for anything that he is not find physically attractive. He's not gonna do it. All right.
He ain't telling no lies.
So
man.
we gotta be sold up. We are so foolish. We'll go get Range Rovers. If we like it, we will pay for it. And we don't even know how we're gonna be able to pay for it. But we will sign up for the debt if we like
time
it.
for your boy.
All right. So we need to see it. We need to like it. We need to know that we like it. We need to be comfortable with it. Now we're gonna cross-reference and say, "Hey, my man, what do you think about it?" I still like it. I don't care. So that's the first thing. Second thing, we'll know we don't have communication with women that we don't like. And once we realize that at this stage in our life that mental stimulation is not there, it's out the door.
Yeah.
It's going to be a loss for us if we go forward. Now, we've all gone forward. I have gone forward many a times with physical, where the mental stimulation was not there, and I lost every time. But I deceived myself every time too.
Before I go back to you, let me just piggyback off that, because you made a great point. But let me tell you something about online dating that you hit home. Like, you have to meet the person, and you have to be in person. Like, regardless of how you get there, to be face to face with somebody is crucial. It's more than crucial. It's essential, because you can say, oh, they look good online, they have great conversation, they speak well, but you have to be in front of that person to get that energy from that person. You can't just say, oh, well, I'm sold. I'm sold right now. I'm sold on her right now. No, we met, and you get the vibe, and you move from there. If you don't do that, you kind of catfishing yourself to a degree, because you don't know what you're coming up with, especially with filters and angles and other manipulation. Like.
I was waiting on them filters, though. I was waiting on somebody. Not
It's real.
me.
It's real. It's so serious. Like I said, we don't even got enough time to go into that. That's a whole nother animal.
Right. It is.
Just be happy you haven't experienced that animal.
It better
It
not
is.
ever
Say that.
become
That's all I'll say.
acceptable.
That's all I'll say. Because that is a
Ooh,
monster
Lord.
in itself. People are liars. I didn't say men or both. They be out here lying. You are not what you look like on your angled ass picture. Not.
I'll do it for you.
You is
Not.
So
Not.
back
So
the
to the
thousand.
me off.
So to
You
the
back the
argument,
1,000, bro.
Pissing me
to your
off.
point,
back
I might need to catch you in Walmart, because I know what I saw when I was. in
Or
Walmart.
just go to a meet and greet, or go to an event, because I know kicking back. J. Cole gonna have some events. I'm gonna bring some women. It's gonna be some meet and greet situations. I cordially invite you.
Right.
So you too, please. Let's make it a
I was
family
about to say,
thing.
if you didn't
Let's
make
it a
that, you
family
didn't
thing.
do a rotational
Let's make it a family thing. Let's make it a family thing.
Everybody's
Let's make it a
invited.
family thing. We family now. Let's make it. But seriously, that's where you create that, because, like you said, some women might be off put like shopping or in a mall. They might not feel comfortable with that. But when you're in a meet and greet situation where you're at an event, I think that's a good
That's the
opportunity to
purpose.
really, to really thrive as a man like yourself. Where
Right.
you can find some substance. I think personally, that's why I'm going to create events like that, because I think people like us, not me anymore, but people that need to really
We need to be around people that
yeah,
like
like-minded individual, and it makes it you unleash the shirt and you can see
Create an
somebody's
environment.
realness.
Yeah, you
That's
create
real.
an
And,
Make
and
it
I,
music to
I
me.
completely agree with you. First of all, I'm like Lyrics. I have never online dated.
Oh, you lucky, brother.
I-
You lucky, brother. Let me tell you
Well,
right
it's
now.
not bad. It's not bad.
Absolutely
It's
not.
not, it's not
But-
bad.
but see-
Yeah,
Ned, she over here lying.
But see-
Ned. She
but
over
see-
here, Ned. You
Ned,
ever-
have you online dated? I'm just
She- I
trying to
think
get,
she-
because there's like
It's the-
2, 4, 6. There's 6 people in the room. I'm trying to get some stats.
All right, so see what happened was.
Yep, she online. Yep. Wait,
So
wait for she to say
Okay.
something.
80% of the
say
room
something.
is
No.
online
In
dating.
my defense, yes, but
Ain't no defense.
Ain't no defense.
No, because the only way that I actually felt like it was okay. I had a friend named Manny. Rest in peace. He just passed more recently. But I actually reached out to him. Now, granted, we went to the same college, never crossed paths ever. But he just started talking to me online, and I'm just like, man, who's this guy? He's just like, yeah, that's my dude. Blah blah blah. So that's why I drove to Georgia from North Carolina to meet this guy because he's just like, you know what, you should. And for some reason, I just felt like I'm going.
So you got the
I
cosign from
told-
somebody that you trusted, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, I got
Right,
you. Okay,
right,
that makes
because
sense.
otherwise, I was just like, this is crazy.
What did he look like? Did you see a full body before?
Yeah.
Did he look like SpongeBob?
No.
So you were okay
No,
with
and
his
the thing is,
visual?
like, he's a-
You were okay with his visual, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he did more than headshot. Like, he was just all over the
He ain't
place.
seen you
Yeah,
nudes, did he?
No.
Okay.
but Close.
We good.
Oh.
See?
He said
No,
close.
no, because he was a photographer.
Oh, everybody's a photographer.
Are we talking about D'Angelo? How does it feel? Video
It
close.
was-
We need some details a little
say
bit.
It was a dark shadow. Like, you
I
were
gotta
just looking at a hard shadow. So
So it wasn't a
I'm
Wang
not-
shot, is
I'm
what
not-
you're saying. Is
right,
what
right.
I feel like it was still
No.
a lot. I feel like it was almost
No,
there.
I just got to see his physique. Period. But not.
She saw.
I didn't get a penis shot. That's what we were
You
talking about.
full blow.
Hey,
No. Okay. So anyway,
I just want you to stay on track.
I'm on
I just-
Oh my god.
So yes.
Oh
I
my
did
God.
drive here to Georgia, and he actually lived in the top of the tower, kind of.
Oh, that
It
is great.
Became just a great situation. Just like whether he was home or not, I was just there. Like the concierge was just like, hey, she's with me. Take her right up. Well, so anyway, I just feel like it could work, but you would have to be bold enough to try, because
yeah.
I was scared. Like, well, I'm going to see who.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to.
yeah.
I'm gonna get an event together. We're gonna make some stuff.
For me, I believe stuff that you talking about doing would be more me. 'Cause I'm an energy type person. I
You gotta
can't.
be in that. You gotta be in that energy, man. It's so real.
I
man.
can't.
Like,
I can't. I
you
can't.
know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you have
what
to,
I'm saying.
You have to be able to
It's-
discern.
You can, because you can't get
Yeah.
that. You can't get that online.
You can't.
Hell, you
Cannot.
can barely get it over the phone.
Well, but you have to take
you
like
can't get inflection. I'm
internet dating or online dating becomes offline. Like some people, I think, want to keep it online, but you at some point have to take it offline to move,
Yeah.
forward.
It's the
So
next step.
Absolutely.
yeah, but I think at the initial meeting for me, it was. Because I am an educator, because I coach, there's not a lot of time for me to just be out. And then when I am not working, I'm tired. I don't want to be out all the time. And so it just allowed me to come in contact with people that I would not necessarily come in
They
contact
probably
with.
have the same intentions.
Man.
Right.
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 You're the exception to the rule.
Oh,
You're
well,
not the
I
majority.
mean,
You're in the
You
minority.
know
in
what?
that
You know
sense.
what?
Right.
I'm willing. Let me say this. I disagree. I think once again, it's a lot of young ladies out there online
They want to get married.
that have similar energy as you do, but unfortunately, it only takes but a little bit. And I learned this in sales. Deals are either made by a few words or missed by a few words, right?
Absolutely.
Internet dating is the same way. You could have two people that are completely compatible, but if the initial start to that because it's awkward. If it doesn't start off the right way, you won't even give it a second thought to figure out where it can go because it's hard to interpret inflection in words.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to captivate your personality. And I have a great personality. I know I do. When I'm online, I find it hard to figure out what to say because I'm not the hey beautiful type of guy. I'm not. That's not what I do. I see the beauty. I'll see the beauty in you because I'm responding to you. But most men now, they go with the overt compliments and it waters down my ability to be a genuine person.
I said that earlier. I said it's about what you say because
it's real
it's hard
bro.
for a woman to trust what you're saying is authentic or genuine because they've heard it 15 million times.
That's what I'm saying. So,
but you still don't change who you are. And you just got to take that loss. It might not have been for you because if you remain consistent, you always get something positive in that end. And it don't necessarily have to work, but at least you were consistent. And when your time comes, it's gonna come. But I agree with you 115% because you can imagine both of y'all get inboxes before, after, in between. They get more than we do. Yeah. If we get any at all,
that's what I'm saying. And
so you fighting really. You up against that.
And when I've gotten some inbox,
well, no, I'm just saying.
You know what? Let's just.
But he said he didn't online date.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but that's a message. You can't online dating. The message is a message to reach out to somebody, like just to acknowledge that you like something they're doing or you like them or whatever the case is, whatever the approach is. I think that a lot of guys, and not all women, but it's a majority of women that are really flashy online or really active online. They get a lot of people to their inbox. Mm-hmm. So if you really like that woman, regardless who she is, you're fighting against 20 to 25 messages for her to read your one. Kind of like a dating website. That's why people don't really. They say they hate Facebook, but they can't get off of it because it creates that type of rush for you. Oh, I got 15 inbox. Let me see. Oh, I don't like him. They can pick and choose.
On that note. I hate, hey, hi.
Right.
All of those. Right. Like, those are the people, when I need space in my Facebook, those are the people I go back and delete.
Right.
Because I cannot stand it. Let's move on. Like,
you're right.
I cannot.
You're right.
Pause.
What?
Miss Net.
Okay.
I appreciate that. And a lot of women online put that in their profiles. No, hey, how you doing, what you doing type of messages, right? Mm-hmm. So I pay attention culturally. Mm-hmm. So I send a message that's more prone to me finding out is this someone that's like what I'm like. So I say, hey, what was the last concert you went to? I ask questions, once again, learning in sales, that you don't ask closed-ended questions. You ask open-ended questions. But then when you get the one-word answers, when you get the cool or okay, I'm not seeing the reciprocity in the intentions and in the expectations on online dating. So I gotta use my own filters. I don't like overly filtered pictures. Mm-hmm. I don't like pictures at a high angle. Mm-hmm. I don't like you asking me personal questions in the first conversation. For example, once again, I'm not 6 feet tall. Don't ask me how tall I am, because I'm going to put it right there. That's letting me know that you're not paying attention, because if I'm not paying attention to you, then you're no longer interested because you feel like I only want one thing. There needs to be a balance in expectations when we go online. And there's not really any balance. Women, honestly, don't take this the wrong way, but men running amok, women running amok too. Like, it's bad. I got to go through like 20 of the Tatianas to find a decent young lady. And the Ratchetinas.
Oh my God. I wanted to ring the bell, but
so far away. I see people in person. I'm just.
You gotta see.
No, you can meet somebody. People. I was just saying that because somebody commented. Like, I met one of my good friends online. It's fact, very much facts. But you still got to meet them in person. It don't matter. No matter what you do online, y'all can have the best conversations till you get to a phone call. Had the best phone calls. Yeah. You talk for hours.
That personal energy,
but until you meet them in person, you don't know where they're gonna be in your life or if they're gonna be in your life. It's got to be a person to person contact, not necessarily touching, but just the energy you give off. Because in dating, if you don't have that, all you get is what you think you see online, what the representation of what they put out there. And it can be fictional. I mean, at the end of the day, it could be fact too, but
it's mostly fiction.
They lie. 90%.
Hey, I like freckles, and the freckle filter, it messes me up every time.
And they got the little color eyes
every
on
time.
it.
I like freckles.
Like, come on,
I have dated girls who have
like-
boyfriends who they be snuggled up with online with on Facebook, and I'm listen, man. This like
You
that.
date-
I already
You
know
dated
what you about to
The
say.
names have been changed to protect the innocent. So I'm not. Listen, if you listen, ladies, if you listen to me, they lying. Don't.
Lying.
If they can't pick up the phone when you call.
Uh-oh.
Now, if they work at 7 in the morning, fine. But they go to work at night, if they can't pick up the phone. If people can't talk to you on the phone, pick it up.
What you hiding, bruh?
I ain't gonna get on the now. I had my own, but this saying I'm not gonna bash. Well, I'm saying for me, I'm like that Travis Scott Young Thug. Hey, pick up the phone, baby.
Hey, for real. More like Outkast say, I'll call before I come.
Wait, let me tell. What did I say? What's my limit on text messages?
Oh, 5 messages.
Dude.
Period.
Dude,
Call me.
Yeah.
are we
Yeah.
brothers? Are we
We
brothers
just
from
might be.
Like,
We just
I have a
might be.
text message limit too. I have a scale.
Wait, I was
Hey,
like, would I
man.
know that answer?
Whoa.
But I-
My
But
dude.
I dated people. We'll go
Man,
in with the text.
don't text me with conversations. Call me. If you at work and you can't talk, that's different. I get it. Facebook Messenger or whatever is the better application for you to use. If like I'm at an office, if I use Facebook Messenger, it's easier for me.
Right.
You know, but if I'm at home and I'm texting you, like unless I'm watching like a show or something, 9 times out of 10 I can call you.
Do you want to meet tonight at Pearl at 7:30? Yes. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right.
a
Make it
smart-
easy on
Don't
yourself.
text
Smart
me.
man
How do
ain't-
you
ain't
feel
doing it.
about the shooting at the Waffle
Yeah,
House?
yeah,
That
man.
ain't
Yeah,
gonna
man.
work.
A smart man knows not to send too many long messages because
Looking
they
like a
will
sheet of
come
paper,
back
man.
in the form of receipts.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just being
Screenshots.
honest.
Long ass CVS receipts.
Them, you know what I'm saying? But I think, I think as men, when we show people how to treat us, that my text message rule, I keep that's in effect because people use text message to hide behind their character. So if something's wrong, or if they don't, or if they're afraid of how you're going to respond to something,
You can't apply emotion to text message.
there's no inflection, right?
Right.
I prefer. That's how I know an exchange, a conference of energy. Like I know I can hear in your voice what's going on with you. You know what I mean? But if you only want a text message and you're quick to text messages a long message like this, but when you have me in front of you, there's no
can't
no
tell.
in-depth communication. I'm out.
Well, Mom,
Out.
when we get to West Africa, we move out there. I know
We
a lady
going,
that
bro.
went there. We gonna get dual residency. We're gonna be there. You were there at Rick Mathis. Left, right. When we get out there, I went to 640 West this morning and got talking to some people, and she's moving to Ghana.
That's
When we get out there to West Africa, and I know a flight attendant went out there that said cell phones aren't that good and the reception ain't that. We ain't even gonna have to worry about this bullshit.
We're good.
I was just motivational Monday.
Right.
Excuse
So,
me.
yeah,
What I
so
said. Yeah.
I want to give each person a chance to make their last comment before we close out the show. Ladies first.
Well, my last thought, I guess, would just be for women to remain open and remain optimistic. You know, you're not dead, so there is still hope for you to find your relationship. Because for me, I'll say it took 10 years. 10 years of doing things that I probably shouldn't do, being crazy. But just be open, to that possibility and continue to work on yourself, continue to improve self. But yeah, just remain optimistic about it.
Good job. Mo.
Thanks.
Music Monk ATL, man. Thank you all so much, man. Thank you, Kev, for reaching out, man. It's
Yes,
always
sir.
a blessing and a privilege and an honor to do your show. Hey, man, just be the best you. I'm learning that. Just be the best you. Drive slow. Call before you come. You know what I'm saying? Double entendre. You know what I'm saying? If you feel me. And I'm so excited, man. We're gonna be on Beer in the Conversation tomorrow. Episode 1, part 1 of Music Monk in the Truck, man. Music in the Truck with Music Monk. I'm just excited, man. And hopefully I will be in a position where I can be my best me and find the best you that's meant for me.
All right.
That's what's up.
Mr. Hodges. Mr. Hodges.
All right, good to be here. Beer in the Conversation tomorrow night here at Instinct Radio 6 to 8. Finding what you need is finding yourself. And if you think that it'll work the other way, then we need you to come down and be a testimony to that. I ain't seen it happen the other way. So, whatever you want, you got to be first.
Jacob. Thank you,
Hey,
sir.
man, thank everybody for welcoming me, man. I appreciate it. It's been a rough couple months, but I got it together, and I'm happy to be. Hey, Net, don't be, you don't start. No, but seriously, kicking back with J. Cole, it'll be here coming real soon. Every Wednesday, 6 to 8, it's gonna be a party. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna play some games. We're gonna do some fun stuff. We're gonna make your hump day experience worth having.
Hey.
That's the goal. So I'm gonna leave y'all like I leave every trivia show. If you can't be good, goddamn it, be good at it.
Ooh.
All right.
All right.
First of all, I want to thank all y'all for being on the show.
Thank
It
you.
was
Thank
a great conversation. 2 hours went by very fast with y'all. So we might have to do a part 4 because I think y'all want to go further and deeper into the whole online dating. So we might have to get into that. And I guess we got a lot of comments. So I guess they are really into the whole relationship standpoint of wellness. And so once again, I want to thank all y'all for bringing your A game. Good conversation. Everybody was able to listen and understand and not just respond and be heard. So I greatly appreciate that. For me, if you want to attract the best person, you got to be your best self. And that means you got to do the work. And that's the hard part. Then taking full accountability and responsibility for who you are, what you do, and what you did in relationships. So you can learn from it and keep it going. So if you are able and willing to do that, and become your best version of yourself and be confident who you are instead of trying to be somebody other people you might think want you to be, you'll win. Because then you'll attract that person for you, whether it's male or female. So all I ask you to do is be great, be authentic, be yourself, and be great. We out.
We out.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.